Natalie, you've got some big news to share in the new year. You want to tell us a little about that?
Yes, Breaking Back fans. I am newly with Fanatics on the betting and gaming side, working on their loyalty team. I'm working on the analytics side, maintaining tier loyalty, working on benefit deliveries, and really just in my dream sweet spot at 25 years old.
Hey everyone, I'm Norm, and this is Breaking Back, a tennis podcast for fans, by fans, reviewing all aspects of the game through an unfiltered mic. And I'm joined by my co-hosts Peter, JB, and Natalie, breaking down the betting market. I think I was in my hotel in New York one time when there was a women in
Whoa, this is
sports.
a kid's show. On.
Did I say hotel room? In my hotel, not
Turn
the
me
room.
on. Yeah, what was it?
In the bar at the hotel, there was a huge women in sports
Oh
like
yeah,
meetup, and it was like 100 women, all like really young, and they all worked for like ESPN or MSG or whatever. It was pretty
yeah,
cool.
but yeah, it's called WISE, Women in Sports and Entertainment.
Oh, I see what they did there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can get an
Clever.
invite now that I'll be a resident of New York.
yeah.
Yeah,
Natalie's gonna,
Natalie be dialed in there.
she's gonna
yeah,
be she's gonna be central to the program.
they really
Sure.
like make these New York salaries look so awesome, and then you look at the rent on apartments, and it's like I might as well just not take the gig.
So,
Like it's
you,
insane.
you didn't know that you're gonna have to get a job bartending too?
Yeah,
Right.
come on. I think breaking back in Fanatics is plenty for now.
All right, all
That's
right.
right.
Okay.
And then Natalie, do you have to preface everything you say with this is your opinion and your opinion only type thing? Do you have to have like
A
a
disclaimer on
caveat
the
or a
lower third.
disclaimer on?
Yeah. When we like get into announced numbers, I'll just say like disclaimer, all views are my own, just in case I
Yeah.
accidentally use the wrong
Do we-
language. But in terms of like my opinions about like tennis in general, no, it's just getting into like the niche of betting.
Norm, we're gonna have to come up with that tool, where we blot out her face, where it kind of like fuzzes out.
And then like change the voice, and then
Not Natalie.
yeah.
Right.
It's not me.
Natalie, when did you start?
I started December 1st.
So awesome.
So far so good.
So far, so good. I'm
Awesome.
like,
So freaking pumped for you.
yeah, it's a great challenge. Like it's everything I've been looking for. So I'm working on the loyalty team. So we're basically building out like a loyalty program with Fanatics. I was talking to Declan about this, but he's loving like the fan cash back, or basically if you place a bet on Fanatics, you get fan cash back that you can go use to buy a jersey or buy a trading card or things like that.
How does Fanatics? How is it different from Hard Rock Bet?
I mean, I think it's
It's a
like
betting platform, right?
it's so they have like basically three main verticals within the ecosystem. So you have Michael Rubin, who's the CEO of Fanatics Enterprise, and then you have Fanatics Commerce, you have Fanatics Live and Collectibles, and then you have Fanatics Betting and Gaming, and now you have Fanatics Markets. So there's an individual CEO for those four verticals. So it's astronomically different from like a Hard Rock Bet, a DraftKings, or FanDuel, because they're not just a betting and gaming platform. They're a global sports ecosystem platform that offers anything from like A to Z. If you want to indulge in sports, they have that type of offering for you.
Right. They've got everybody there. They've got right there. They've got them all packaged.
Yeah.
Full of
Now
90
Fanatic Studios, right?
Fanatics Studios today. Yep.
Crazy.
Oh, really? What's that? Were they actually shooting, producing?
Like global entertainment platform. They're partnering with OBB Media, who the founder of OBB Media was the co-founder of Rode, who sold to Elf Beauty for $1 billion. So it's basically going to be like they're hosting live events, games, partnering with ESPN, Fox, Olympics.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great place for you to be in, man.
Yeah.
That
Great
is
awesome.
place
super
for
cool.
it's an exciting time to be there. And it's just like growing like crazy and surrounded by people that just have these crazy ideas you wouldn't think are possible. And then poof,
The best thing you can do is be in the room with those people and just be wowed all the time. And
yeah,
also not be like, oh, I don't belong in this room. Like you belong there. Like
yeah,
suck it up.
it's awesome.
Yep.
And what's a trader do? Like how describe like the trader's role? That sounds pretty cool. They have all the intel.
Yeah, they got all the intel and I don't know any of it. And, they're dealing with like customers, setting lines, making sure everyone's in check and that, the book is set up to be profitable. So,
Well, they'll be knocking on your door soon enough,
yeah.
Natalie, for the tennis insights.
Right. Wow. That's the machine behind betting, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, neat.
Peter, I did go out and get some Frost Fest. I hope you saw that.
I did see that. I'm jealous. How was it?
It's I got it at Hannaford too, which is our big supermarket chain, one of them up here in the Northeast, although currently under fire, but that's a different topic. The Frost Fest is excellent. I saw it on the menu somewhere, and it's got like actually has pine boughs in it.
Yeah, spruce tips.
Yes.
Spruce tips.
Yes.
I want to say frosted tips.
Look for that
spruce tips
in a brew.
I love repping the Lone Pine. I mean, to be partner with them from the beginning is pretty cool, given where they're at now, where they're going.
Agreed.
We need some Lone Pine down here. We need to take some pictures on Delray Beach, on a lifeguard tower.
I'll bring some. I'll bring some down when I come to Georgia.
Do a little photo shoot for them. Lone Pine out of its normal jurisdiction.
Right. Frost Fest on the beach.
Yep, absolutely. This is how we do it in Delray.
Lone Pine's just so popular in Southie. Every liquor store was sold out. It's just crazy.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, guys, welcome to season 3, first episode for 2026. First time saying that actually out
yes.
loud.
How many times have we been writing 2025 on everything that we do?
Yeah, a lot.
A
lot more than I thought I was. I can just kick us off if you'd like, Norm.
Sure.
Well, welcome fans back to Breaking Back, presented by Portland, Maine's Lone Pine Brewing Company and their winter seasonal IPA Frost Fest, brewed with spruce tips and natural flavors to celebrate the season. Frost Fest is Lone Pine's seasonal sipper built to celebrate the cold weather months. It's crisp, piney, and seriously festive. Thank you, Lone Pine.
I live for Peter's reading those, man.
I know. They're beautiful.
I just, seriously, we can just hang up the show now.
It's Lone Pine's copyright. It's solid.
Yep.
Frost Fest.
Frost Fest. Hard to say after you've had a few.
Right. And Merry New Year.
So one thing I like about the new year is it's kind of a chance to be reflective on the past year. And I like the break from tennis personally. I mean, I know there's tennis on like every hour of the day. You can find an ITF in one corner of the world to watch, but I kind of like after the climax of the US Open, even the end of year stuff like, Davis Cup or the finals just does not do it like the slams. So I kind of like not having a lot of important tennis to watch, and it gives me a chance to reset, recharge, get a little excited about it. And I don't even play that much tennis. So I'm wondering what you guys feel about that. Do you feel like that kind of seasonal excitement now that we're in January?
Oh my God, can I jump in on this? I mean, what you just said was so important as to what they're trying to do in the sport with the calendar. I mean, if you as a fan need the break, think about what athletes really need. Yes, they go out and do exhibitions and people say, oh, they're going to go out and play. But look, playing an exhibition is nothing like playing tour ball. Let them go out and do that. They expend 10% of the energy. Need the longer, realistic offseason for fans too. Really, really good point that you just made.
From my perspective, I would say as a fan, I feel rusty. Right? Anytime there's a break in sports, there's a bye week or whatever it may be, there's the whole rest versus rust conversation. And I feel rusty as a fan, mainly because of all the news, because of the coaching changes, some of the racket changes, the dynamics, the off the court stuff. I feel rusty in general. So I'm looking forward to watching the Australian Open this weekend, laying eyes on all the respective players and seeing who's confident, who's not, what the trends are. Obviously, we know who some of the confident players are, but I just feel a little rusty as a fan. So I'm looking forward to laying eyes on the tennis and having some actual things to see and enjoy.
Yeah, I gotta be with Peter on this one. I remember last year, Norm, when you called me back on in the beginning of January, I was like up until 1 a.m. the night before, sweating, trying to figure out like what happened in tennis in the last 3 months, and had a little panic of that over the weekend. But by December last year, we had so much to say we couldn't keep this to an hour. So for the
Right.
fans, it's tough, but for the players, it's more than necessary for, how much grit they put out, 11 months of the year, the longest tour of any sport. It's, yeah.
And I noticed like Sinner and Alcaraz didn't play anything serious since the final. Like they're doing none of the warm-ups, I don't believe.
Yeah, they're learning quickly from their peers, from their elders.
Yeah.
For that longevity. I mean, these guys are already thinking about that slam title for sure, and they want to be as fresh as they can, as long as they can. They see how injuries happen towards the close of a career, so if they want any chance to catch these, three aliens that we just enjoyed for a decade and a half, they have to be so smart with their bodies because what they're doing to each other. I mean, we know what the tour does to a body as it is, let alone what those two do to each other when they get into a final. I mean, my God. So yeah, I think that you're going to see the opportunities to see them are going to be fewer and far between. They're going to be the majors, obviously the 1,000 levels, but I think they're going to be very smart and prudent about their calendar.
Yeah, I don't know if they have to play 90, 95 matches a year, right? Which is what those top players typically are burdened with, like close to 100 matches. It's insane.
Well, well, it's interesting. I remember looking at a statistic about Federer about how he played, very few tournaments, but the thing about it was he made the semis and finals of every
Right.
tournament, so his match count was insane.
Right.
I mean, the longevity that those three guys had was just nuts. A lot of flexibility, man.
Sabalenka, like said, going to 2026, the schedule has just been absolutely insane, and you'll see her missing some, major, not probably not major events, but some of the bigger events on tour. And she's not, someone we consider an elder of the sport yet. So I think you're really seeing like some of these players who prioritize their mental and physical health over just numbers and numbers. How many points can you rack up? How many tournaments can you play in?
Yeah, yeah, strong point. I mean, they're learning from the people before them for sure.
Well, that's a good segue to segment number one, and that is the personnel carousel that's going on as we're heading into the season. The first one I think that's worth talking about, timely, of course, is Craig Tiley, who's president or CEO of Tennis Australia currently, but has been positioned as he's denied it, but it's been a lot of speculation about him taking over as the CEO for the USTA. And JB, since you're probably closest, I think you even know Craig, but you're closest to this. What do you think of what's going on?
Oh yeah, we're bros. Um, by that I mean we've exchanged a couple emails, and I'm a big
That
fan
counts.
done with the Australian Open. I mean, what he's done with that event is just spectacular. Uh, it is theater on every level: sporting, music, arts, fashion, food. It's top notch. Yeah, no, I'm hearing that that is probably not realistically going to be moving forward. I would love to see him here in the U.S. just from the perspective of taking the U.S. Open to the next level, which I don't know how it could even go more next level, but it could actually be, what they've done with the Australian Open is it's a much more of a earthy event. It's not as corporate, it seems, when you're there. It seems like, and again, this is me from looking at a TV. There's the graffiti all over the place. There are the different exhibitions, the cool and the music and the concerts that are it's just done differently than the U.S. Open. So maybe it is time for the U.S. Open to kind of change maybe a little bit of the face, the behavior, the personality of it a little bit, because it is awesome, but it's been awesome in a certain way for a long time, which is kind of a bit sterile.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the U.S. Open, the Australian Open, is very just like let's come, let's party, come in your shorts and your flops, and get crazy during the day and party to music at night and keep the night going. It's a little bit of a different scene, but from what I hear from boots on the ground, there's the reason that we haven't heard too much more about that is that it's likely not going to happen.
Yeah, his quote is, "It's speculation. There's a lot of speculation. I've read the speculation. I've seen the speculation, and I'm kind of not going to go there." That's pretty definitive.
So he's a free agent, Tylee, right now. Is he considering his next move?
I don't
I
think
think
he's free agent.
Yeah,
I think he's still doing his skit, right?
Yeah, because there was talk
Okay.
about whether he would, if he took the job, if they would let him run the Australian Open or not, or just make
Right.
him,
Yeah.
hand it off to a deputy. But we'll have to watch and see what happens there. Certainly, I know the USTA, they do a good job with the Open, but a lot of people are questioning handling of junior development and how that all works. And that's certainly under the same kind of area of responsibility if you read the job description that you sent out, right?
Yep.
So I'm very curious about that. In particular, leveraging college tennis a bit more. I think that might be a good topic to go into deeper another time. Regarding players and representation and whatnot, the other story that was pretty big in December that kind of came out and then nobody heard much about afterward is Djokovic deciding to leave the PTPA, which is the Tour Players Association, Tennis Players Association, excuse me, and that he co-founded with Vasek Papasil back in 2021. So the fact that he's just kind of stepping away, don't agree with the approach anymore. Chapter is now closed. That's the language he was using. Is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to chime in here because I've spoken to PTPA for a bit, and I was actually interested in working with them early on. Was quite shocked when it didn't work out, but that's how it goes. But also thankful now because it's been kind of awkward. It seems like they've been kind of like searching for their place in the game, kind of coming up with ways to be relevant versus actually being relevant. Conceptually, they have a really good opportunity to solidify player thoughts and coalesce on what they're looking for and be that speaking arm. But it seems like the players really haven't gravitated to it. So there is really no strength in it. And players haven't gravitated to it because they've never, ever. Tennis players have to be so self focused and so self centered. They just do. So to think about, okay, now I've got to be part of a union or association, I've got to be listening to minutes and bylines or whatever. They're like, oh, forget this. I got to go train. So it's a tough sell, unless it's part of the player group from the beginning, like other sports.
Yeah.
So it's obviously they can't unionize because they're independent contractors. So there's all sorts of things going on, but it's like here's this independent group fighting for the rights of the players, but the players really can't even what are they going to be a part of?
Right. Yeah. It seems like, and Peter, you probably know this better than anybody, like this idea of having one league and a commissioner and one contract with a union that represents all the players might be the only way that this works out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case for college football, which is another conversation. And, there's rumors of Nick Saban, sort of being this overarching GM, handling NIL and all that sort of thing. But no, I agree wholeheartedly. I think in other sports are dealing with it, in real time.
Well, is that actually on the table for college football?
I think it is behind the scenes. Yeah, it's so out of control. It's again another podcast for another day. But I mean,
I'm sorry, I mean professional college football.
Right. Yeah, I mean these players don't want to leave the college ranks. A lot of these quarterbacks are getting paid more in college than they would as a rookie in the NFL. So it's a little bit of they've sort of overcorrected, gone from not paying the college athletes at all, which there should have been something for all the athletes, to now them making millions of dollars. I mean, it's crazy actually, but.
It's interesting that Saban's been so outspoken against NIL and sports in general. They're probably saying, hey, if you're going to complain so much, we'll put you in charge of it.
Yeah, I think he would be the guy for the job, but
100%.
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
100%. And that's interesting. You make the comparison because that's somebody that everybody could get behind just because obviously he's had success. You know how the game works. He knows how the game works. But then you've got somebody like Djokovic who knows how the game works, and then he departs.
Yeah.
The unified effort. Kind of strange. Like how much was he really involved in the beginning? Obviously him being involved was of great interest. It made for great media. So that was helpful. But maybe when they went and they pulled this whole court case and these legal proceedings, he probably said, ooh, a little much for me, but hard to think that they would have at least consulted him on this. I'm sure he had to be involved somehow.
Yeah. It's interesting. He's actually kind of pulled back from Serbia too. He moved, I think his primary residence is now Greece.
Good point. Good point.
And he's distanced himself from the government over some political issues that are
Yep.
ongoing in the country, which is really strange, right? Because he's always been like, the guy
There's a
that,
lot of backlash.
yeah, a ton of
Yeah.
that. Maybe he just wants to focus on getting that one more slam and nothing
Yeah.
else, no distractions. To your point earlier.
Oh, good tangent to an over under.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Will Djokovic, forget that will he win another major? Will he? How many semis will he get to? I mean, he got to 4 semis last year. That's crazy.
I know.
What's the
God,
over under? 1.5?
Yeah. I
what
said
semis?
I said 1.5. That was my. No, I don't know what Natalie thinks about that, but yeah, I mean,
I'm going to the stats boss. What are we thinking? What
I'm taking the over easily.
you're taking the over on 1.5 semis?
Yeah.
Okay. How
I
about
mean, like when you think about it, you have four players in the semis, and do we really think there's more than three players that are capable of beating Djokovic outside of Sinner and Alcaraz?
yeah, in a 5-set match, right?
Like he might be, slowing down against those guys, but he really isn't showing signs of, consistently. Like he's had moments where he slowed down against other players, but he hasn't shown any consistency. And, to Norm's point, like it seems like he's moving into an even better mental space, than he was last year, coming in being like, you know what? I'm gonna take Andy Murray as my coach and see how this goes. And now he's like really focusing on, what is gonna make me the best holistic player. So I think we might see him have a great year, honestly, presumingly his body
of
holds.
that?
Yeah.
Of that. Who's
I take
the
I take the over as well. People underestimate him, and yeah, his mental game is unmatched. I take the over. I'd say he's going to get to two
Okay.
semis.
Here's a better over under. How many tournaments does he play? 4 majors. How many of the 1,000 levels? And I think he cans everything else.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how it worked with his ranking and like getting, seeded and whatnot, but maybe he doesn't care in the 1000s, but yeah.
I think there's some sort of a rule. I don't know what it is. I can look it up. But when you have that sort of a seniority, and you have a different set of rules than other players, right, Nat?
Yeah, also ranking points wise, like if he's confident he's going to get to quarters or semis in every 1000 in every major, he doesn't need to waste time doing 250s and
Right.
500s because you
No.
get so many more points in those tournaments. Like,
He
why
doesn't care about
waste
any
your time?
1,000 titles. He's won them all. The only
Right.
thing he cares about is that major. That is it.
He's the
He
big
played it
25.
Points. He doesn't care about points.
He played in 13 ATP events in 2025. Um, and a couple of the 250s, I think, were just literally like he jumped in to warm up before a tournament.
Right. Well, he played
Yeah.
Greece because he moved there,
Right.
and
He
that's
played,
where the Belgrade tournament moved to.
that's right. That's right. And I think there was another one before the French he played, a clay court event. Um, but anyway, yeah, I would bet he would play under that number.
Under 13.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna go 9.
9?
Yeah.
9 tournaments. Okay, we need to. Is that noted? We need to. Okay, so
recorded
we
by
need to
We
go
got a
back.
recorder.
We need to go back to these predictions.
Okay. We'll note
We
that.
had talked about doing some. Oh my gosh, we're gonna need a longer show. We're gonna need a part B of this.
We are.
For 2026 predictions.
Well, you know what's interesting? I looked up aces for some reason because I saw there was a comparison on Twitter of Alcaraz's serve and how he was emulating Djokovic's serve. And I was like, well, why would he do that? But lo and behold, Djokovic was number 5 on the tour last year for total aces and an aces per match, which is a more fair metric. He was, let's see, one, two, tied for 4, or no, he was 4th. Opelka had 15 aces a match, which is insane. Taylor Fritz and Zverev, I'm sorry, Hubie Hurkacz, 9.6, Zverev 8.3, and then Djokovic 8.2. And then like the next closest was a good drop from there, but that's pretty impressive. He's just so efficient.
Well, he's beefed that up. Like he's found ways. Like he knows what's going to bring him to the next level or keep him competitive.
Yeah. Narrow it down. Okay, well, next topic and the personnel carousel category, coaching. I mean, give me a comp in another sport where the two best teams, dominant teams, like far and away, Chelsea and Arsenal, or not Chelsea, sorry, Man City and Arsenal,
No, no,
uh,
no, no, no.
fired their coach after winning,
Oh, true. Okay.
like for Alcaraz and Sinner to jettison their coach and manager effectively in December, right before the start of the new year. Certainly, we knew Killer Cahill was stepping away, right? They talked about it all season. Obviously, a lot of issues there in their camp, but man, Alcaraz firing JC Wonky, I guess I found that's his nickname, Wonky Ferrero, the 2025 Coach of the Year. Just toss him to the curb.
Do we really know that it was that way? Was it Carlos saying, you know what? I think it's time to move on. We've done well, or is it the other way around?
From what I've read, the articles I read, there was a financial gap in the contract renewal, and I think it came down to Ferrero's camp against Alcaraz's family. Like I heard, like Carlos Senior was kind of like no bueno. They did, like they promoted the assistant coach that they brought on last year, and I think they're going to save a bunch of money. Like, these guys get paid as a percentage of the winnings.
Right.
And I think Ferrero had a good, healthy percentage at the beginning, but you think that would be a sliding scale, like a sales rep, right? Like you don't get like the
Sure.
same commission 10 years in, right?
Oh, you
Because
hate seeing that about just dollars and cents. I
I
did
know.
not know that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not confirmed. Of course, they're not going to say that, but this is what there was an interview with him that I read, his first interview in like, I think it was called Clay Magazine, which I love. Um, and he basically said he was like heartbroken and he was not happy about
It
it at
was
all.
heartbroken. Juan Carlos or
Yeah, JC, yeah. And he's
okay.
gonna it's gonna take him time before he can heal and go coach somebody else. And yeah, he's definitely not happy.
So is he in Sinners camp now?
That was the question, is like, would you go coach Sinner? And he said, it's too soon to tell.
I heard a totally different perspective that I'll offer. I don't know if you guys have listened to Monday Match Analysis, but they brought on Jose Marone, who's a Spanish journalist, and his 2 cents was it had nothing to do with
Really?
prize money and financials. It had to do with like it was a rivalry between Alcaraz's family. Senior wanted him out. And that, Alcaraz was basically kind of put in the middle of like a messy situation, and he may have had nothing to do with the decision. It was, everything went over his head. He removed himself and said, like, I'm not going to choose family or Ferrero. There was stuff about like family didn't like the way that Ferrero was controlling his image, like his player image. So the way they were portraying him on the Netflix documentary and like his extracurricular activities. So more of the drama side of the story, one will say, but
the Bravo side.
Yeah, the Bravo side. But it sounds like Alcaraz, from his perspective, wasn't, charging
Well, it sounds like junior tennis, but like on a bigger scale.
Yeah, right.
Big parents and coaches. Oh,
yeah, seriously.
Disaster. Stay out of it.
Right.
Interesting.
Oh.
And then Medvedev seems reborn, doesn't he? With his new coach, yeah. I mean, I think he's on fire.
He is.
Of late. So I think he's been somewhat reborn.
He shaved.
I'm going to miss, is it Gilles Servara?
Right,
How do you pronounce his old coach's name? Is it Gilles?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna miss Gilles' NHL hats. He always wore like you'd be watching him in Wimbledon. And by the way, is there a coach that gets more FaceTime or did get more FaceTime than Gilles?
No.
But he always wore a Florida Panthers hat at Wimbledon or a New York Rangers hat at the US Open. So I'm definitely gonna miss his garb and his hat game. But look out for Medvedev here in the Australian Open. I think he's got a little wind in his sails.
He actually went from Gilles Servara is still there, like in a management position, but the coach is Gilles Simon,
wow,
crafty Frenchman who just retired a couple years ago.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy who did the absolute maximum with his game? Holy yeah, that guy was great.
He was just so consistent and clean, and
he's like smart. The French Brad Gilbert.
Yeah, right.
Softballer,
Nice.
nerdballer.
Totally, yeah.
Take your pace and feed it right back to you. His hands were amazing. He was good fun to watch.
Well, he shaved. Medvedev has shaved his beard. He's got the little boy haircut. He looks in top shape.
My question on him is if he loses the fourth AO final, is he just gonna collapse for the rest of the year and cry himself to sleep every night? Because
Very likely.
three's bad, but
He's a ticking time bomb.
oh yeah.
But you bring up like the whole, like I call these guys like the Lost Boys era. Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Dimitrov, like they got caught up in that thing like where they were just too close on the heels of Federer or the big three. And then you got these other two freaks coming after, like, you got to be kidding me. Like, what is going to happen with the Lost Boys? I mean, is Tsitsipas going to rebound? I hope so. He's great for tennis.
Yes.
Medvedev is, you just like a train wreck waiting at any second. I mean, people love to tune in for that.
Timing is everything.
Is Dimitrov going to stay healthy?
Yeah. Raonic just retired. He just announced his retirement like a couple days ago. I think he fits in that category. Milo. So I don't know if you guys done any digging around. I love the Australian Open, and we talked about this in the past, but part of it is new year, fresh gear, brand new clothing lines, colors, rackets, all of it. And I've seen a little bit in these, Brisbane and Auckland in the lead up. Lots of solids, lots of bright colors I've noticed. But you guys picking up anything or anything in particular exciting you heading into to Melbourne?
Let's go, Peter. Let's hear what you got, you fashionista.
Well, there's not as much out there on the interwebs as I would have thought, but little I've pieced together. So Aless has two new players, I think, and Alejandro Tabilo, I think it is.
Oh.
And Dana Vikic. So they have some neat new gear. Aless has some new threads, which is supposed to be cool. Nike has some very bright, fun new gear that's very surf, I think, based or inspired. So I know Sabalenka has been promoting, or Nike's been promoting Sabalenka's new outfit online. There's another one that's a different color scheme. That's a Nike dress for women that looks pretty cool. It very much has Mardi Gras vibes with like a purple and green sort of theme to it, which is kind of cool. Again, both surf inspired. And then and I guess a little bit underwhelming is Adidas again. I'm interested to see what Adidas comes out with after that Y3 Japanese artist sort of collab for the US Open, which I'm not sure how that was accepted or not. But what little I've seen from, Adidas is fairly bland or fairly just, monotone or just one solid color. So we'll see what happens there with like Zverev and FAA.
I have some questions on Nike. Not just like in tennis, but overall in sports. So, I mean, I was looking at, what they're doing. I saw Sabalenka's dress, but look, so Tiafoe left Nike for Lulu. Musetti left Nike for Asics. Raducanu's rumored to be leaving Nike for Uniqlo this year. Dimitrov switched from Nike to Adidas. And like, I just feel like for the longest time, we've been saying like Nike is falling off. It's the dying apparel brand. And when you look at like some of these big movers in the industry, like you have Viore, where Draper is a sponsor, Gauff is a sponsor, and then there's a college tennis player at Stanford, Tristan Boyer. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's got a sponsorship with Viore. Then you see Lululemon with Tiafoe and Hamilton. You just see like fashion in sports is moving towards individual sponsorships because that's what people care about. And Nike's just historically been like a big team sponsor. And so even like when I'm scrolling on Instagram, I feel like I see all these ads for Viore and Aloe and New Balance, and Nike's just not advertising. So my question is like, what's happening with Nike? Why are all these?
Is it a shift you're saying? Is it a shift from Nike?
It's a shift from Nike, but I think it's a part of a greater shift. Like you're not only seeing it in tennis, but you're seeing it in the NFL with people like Goff and Joe Burrow who are signing individual sponsorships with these apparel companies. Taylor Townsend hired a creative director of fashion for herself. Her name's Doma Wells, who's a big mover in the industry. So I'm just curious on like where fashion stands in sports going forward, and the impact of Nike in tennis right now is clearly shifting away from it. So that's what I picked up.
Really comes down to what Nike's priorities are right now, right? Because didn't they had some trouble with the CEO, or they just got rid of a CEO, or they really went through some troubling times?
Yeah.
They're trying to kind of refocus a bit.
The stock has suffered. They did hire a new CEO, I think towards the end of last year, middle of last year, third quarter, something like that. They're not focused on tennis, I don't think. I mean, obviously Sinner and Alcaraz are the breadwinners for them, and they kind of riff on their outfits seem to kind of are underscore their rivalry, if you will, like they're
Very
very
different.
different.
And Sabalenka, they have
And Sabalenka,
and she's just a marketing gem. Her social is like, I'm not a social media person at all. I'm never on, but for some, I catch her socials. She's phenomenal. What she does.
My quick take, Natalie, is that Nike has definitely shifted their priorities in the last 6 months. This is a World Cup soccer year, obviously, so a big coup for them is they got the Germany national soccer team from Adidas, which Adidas is a German company, and Adidas and Germany, the German national team, are sort of synonymous and have been. And that was a huge coup for Nike to sort of steal the German national team during a World Cup year. And I think in return for payback, the rumors are Adidas will be taking over the Brazilian national team. So there's a little bit of a pissing contest there. Adidas also just stole Liverpool from Nike. And so there's a little bit of a battle in soccer or football, as they would say internationally. They've also, Nike, been focusing on American football. It's ironic that this year you're going to have an all Adidas college football championship game in Indiana versus Miami. A lot of scuttlebutt about that. But my gut is that they've been focusing on bigger sports and unfortunately less on tennis.
Well, they're probably like in a bit of a rebuild, right, huh, Peter?
I think so, yeah.
Strategically?
Well, I got to put a plug in there for the Demon Deacons, because I don't know if you saw, Natalie, but the German national team, Peter, is training at Wake Forest University, also a Nike branded university. So that's kind of cool. They're staying at our beautiful conference center across the street from campus and using our beautiful facilities. So I guess they're automatically my second favorite team now in the World Cup.
As they should be.
We'll put a plug in for Hard Rock Stadium with the most expensive tickets and for a college championship in my lifetime. So go Hard Rock Stadium.
That's right. $4,000 average ticket.
Yep.
Is that right?
What?
Yeah. It's in Miami. It's the first time ever, right? One of the two teams is playing in their home stadium. So I think all of the Hurricane fans in Southern Florida or nationally are driving up ticket prices. But Natalie, to your point, I think fashion is getting all these individual players have their own respective brands, and they're hiring creative directors and they're promoting their respective brand. Just like Sabalenka, to JB's point, who her socials are unbelievable, highly entertaining, and very organic, in my opinion. But yeah, I think some of the bigger getting bigger. So some of the bigger, the Nikes and the Adidas of the world, are focusing on these behemoth type teams and leagues, and it's making room for the Vioris of the world, I think, to come in and find strategic partnerships with individuals.
It's so great for tennis too, because I mean, I remember like we had a conversation in the past about, in every other sport, like each player has a story and everyone knows everything about them. And in tennis, that lacks depth, like, the top three on the men's and women's side. But I think these, apparel brands that are really like driving the future of apparel and sports sponsorships, like will give these new players like Fonseca and others, Draper, like opportunities to say like, hey, I stand with Viore, and that's how they're being discovered. So I think it's a really positive thing for players, for the businesses. We'll see.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's actually kind of similar to the way it goes when a top player might take a couple losses or a couple of hits, and all of a sudden he seems like, oh, maybe he is attainable, maybe he is beatable. Now these other smaller brands are coming into the market. Nike isn't there. The other brands, these smaller brands, these independents are kind of coming in and getting on players. Now it kind of becomes more of an open playing field. New brands aren't as afraid to try to enter the market because athletes are rolling with them. So it becomes more of an opportunity for these rising brands.
I love it.
Well, moving to the actual tournament and the competition on court, what say you to going around the horn and you have to name who's in the finals for the men and the women, who's your champion for each, but who are you rooting for the most? And I'll go first. Um, so on the men's side, shocker, it's going to be Sinner and Alcaraz. I just gotta
Who?
believe that. I think Sinner wins. He's working really hard. He's been doing things specifically to counter Alcaraz in the offseason and kind of like broaden his stroke capability and shot capability. I think he wins. I really want Ben Shelton to have a breakthrough though. That's who I'm going to be pulling for. And he's like, I think we can get into this in Natalie's segment, but I think like plus 4,000 or something more, maybe even. I got to check to win. So that's my thought on the men. On the women's side, I think it's Sabalenka and give me Coco Gauff. I think Sabalenka wins. But I really want to see Andreeva kind of continue her push.
Okay, those are definitely solid. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, who's going to go against? Okay, let me ask you this: who here thinks on the men's side it's going to be something different than Alcaraz and Sinner?
Yep. No.
Yeah, I mean,
Not I. Yeah,
Okay.
it's them against the field, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. We have Sinner at slight favorite plus 120 F5, Alcaraz plus 275, Djokovic plus 550, and then everyone else is 1,000 plus plus.
yeah.
So Shelton's ranked number 8 now. I mean, is the best chance for somebody to beat these two freaks early in the year or late in the year when they're tired? We have Bublik entering the top 10 now. You have
Yeah, good question.
Medvedev, who just won his 22nd title, none of which are the same.
Yeah. He had a great tweet. He was like, I need more cities to play in.
Come to Delray.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would argue, JB, that the rest versus rust conversation, like it's going to be earlier in the year. It's going to be at the
I think you're
Australian
right.
Open,
Yeah.
is where you would get these guys. Someone like a Medvedev, you never know. I want to see the up and coming players. The Fonseca's of the world and the Runas and the Mensiks and the Lerners, Andreevas of the world take that next step and see some of the young blood, the next generation, start to creep up the rankings and get into the quarters and the semis. So that's sort of what I have my eye on. I mean, we know the usual suspects who they are. I mean, you can't not go against Alcaraz or Sinner. But it's almost like, other than them, who do you like? Who would you like to see?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the women. I think Sabalenka is unbeatable right now. And so I have a really hard time thinking who's going to beat Sabalenka. On the women's side, is it Iga? Is it Coco? Most likely does Madison Keys.
Anisimova. I mean, is she gonna do it? I mean, Rybakina can beat anybody on a day. Anisimova, I think, is very Rybakina-esque.
Yeah.
Big flat balls off both sides.
Yeah, she's actually going back to the ace conversation. Her ace totals were 6.9 per match, and the next closest was 5.5 for Clara Towson. Like, great, she's a serve bot. But Naomi Osaka was 5.1, but nobody else even close to Rybakina. So huge advantage for her.
Yeah, I think Rybakina and Anisimova are the two. And Coco has beaten Sabalenka on a big stage. So
a
couple times.
Yep.
Sabalenka hates losing though, and she's coming back from losing an AO finals, so she just might like rip everyone to shreds.
Yeah.
She's talked about how she loves coming from.
She plays so well down there.
Yeah, she does.
Mm-hmm.
But then, back to the men's side. I mean, you've got literally outside the top two. I mean, you've got Zverev, Djokovic, Musetti, Demonauer, Aliassime, Shelton. I mean, Shelton and Fritz are the only two that might cause a problem for a set or two. But over 3 sets,
I have a weird feeling that Alcaraz is not going to come out of the gate well. And like, if someone has to break the Sinner Alcaraz, I'll stay. I think we could see Sinner Djokovic.
Yeah, this is his moment.
Sinner, when I look at Sinner and Alcaraz, like Sinner has showed so much more consistency. And Alcaraz has showed moments of like just weird matches where he collapses and like
Yeah.
it seems like he could be a little shaken up by the headspace with the coaching changes versus like Sinner had a full year to prepare. He knew his coach was retiring. So
Yeah. Good point.
if Alcaraz is breaking down this year, I'm gonna pick now and I'll go Djokovic Sinner.
That's like not chalk to have Joker or Sinner. It's crazy to me.
Right. I know. I know.
Oh man, that would be ooh, I don't know. That could be either battle or over quickly. Hoping that we see history. That would be sick.
The biggest thing is these prediction markets. I mean, now you can bet or gamble or wage on anything, including mentions and who's going to say what. Is Trump going to say, drill baby drill during his next speech type thing? So you literally, the prediction markets are getting a little crazy. I have a lot of friends who are spending a lot of time wagering pennies on who's going to say what or not say what during the Golden Globes award show, during a Monday Night Football game, et cetera, et cetera. So, and there's things that you can bet on anything from politics to sports to culture to the climate. What's going to be the high temperature in Miami, Florida tomorrow? It's just nuts what you can sort of wage on, and that's why we have our good friend Natalie Cutter here to fill us in and educate us all on all these crazy trends in the gambling world and in the sports world.
Natalie, you've got some big news to share in the new year. You want to tell us a little about that?
Yes, Breaking Back fans. I am newly with Fanatics on the betting and gaming side, working on their loyalty team. So um, essentially, Fanatics has the way they operate. They issue fan cash for anything spent across commerce, collectibles, or betting and gaming in newly prediction markets. And you can redeem that fan cash across other verticals. And so I'm working on the analytics side, maintaining tier loyalty, working on benefit deliveries, and really just in my dream sweet spot at 25 years old. So happy to be here. But yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Natalie. They got a good one in you, and we're really excited, us old guys, to sit and watch your career. Remember us when, Natalie, when you're on the sidelines of some event or something, and you can get us tickets. But anyway, that's awesome. We're looking forward to hearing more about that.
It's an exciting time to be in this industry, especially with markets launching. You've seen all the major sports books do it. Fanatics, FanDuel, and DraftKings have all launched some version of their own markets. And I think like the conversation to what Peter said this year is, what does that mean for sports betting and where are people placing their dollars? Is it on markets? Is it on sports books? And what are the pros and cons to each? So, I mean, I'll give you, a couple fun stats. As Peter mentioned, you can wager on anything, is the president of Venezuela going to be kidnapped by Trump tomorrow? Like, who knows? But you can wager on any topic. And so, some sports stats for you on the prediction market. So, if you look at NFL dollars wagered, these are poly market stats, by the way. $2.4 billion wagered on poly market in the NFL. In tennis, you have $270 million. And then 4.7 million of that is on the AO finals this year. So, I mean, you can go to any segment. It's larger, it's smaller, but I think seeing how this unfolds in tennis will be very interesting. We got a hand from John.
So, who creates the market? This is fascinating to me. The markets are being created on anything and everything, but who creates it and who fulfills the monetary side of it?
So, unlike sports books where it's players versus the house, you have the house setting the lines and players are betting against the house. Um, Prediction markets are me versus you. So the lines are set by, so if we're saying like who is going to win the Australian Open, Sinner, Alcaraz, and we have 60 people say yes and 40 people say no, the price there is 60 cents for yes and 40 cents for no. But if all of a sudden everything shifts to the no, that side becomes more expensive. So the way that in sports books, you have regulators setting prices. The prices are set completely by the market. So there's more information inherently available in a price on a prediction market because if something is priced at yes, that means more people think that event is more likely to happen. Certain Kalshi and Poly market are federally regulated, whereas sports betting is state regulated. You definitely have prediction markets that are not, legally authorized. I think, in terms of the whole legalities, we could probably produce like an hour podcast every day to try to understand them and explain them. But the general thing to know is that there's a lot less regulation at the prediction market level. For a customer who wants to go bet on a sports book, you have to do KYC, which is know your customer and put in all your credentials and be a verified human. Whereas like any of us could go on Kalshi right now and say who's going to win the AO, and you don't have to put in all your information.
So the money is guaranteed though? If you're betting in here, it's because
it must be held in escrow, right? Like they're kind of like acting like an escrow site or platform that just handles the action. It's so fascinating to me because it's kind of like
putting in the hands of the people.
The prediction market is disrupting, research and betting the way blockchain is disrupting finance and technology. And for me, the kind of the bellwether is when you watch CNBC, which I think is just a brilliant show with like brilliant minds from business every morning, and they're talking about, for the longest time they laughed about crypto, right? Now it's like a ticker that you see the price for like every 90 seconds. And now you see Andrew Sorkin talking about prediction markets almost every telecast. So it's obviously something that they're leveraging to make bets on Wall Street and investments.
It's also, I think, like a great, I would say, educational like way to learn about random topics, you're not reading articles about, but if you're curious on who's going to win, XYZ Golden Globes, like the public opinion is, an educated opinion from whatever news sources they're reading. So it's like a quick gut check of, is this going to happen? And
yeah, you're crowdsourcing knowledge and information and putting money behind it. And it's just a pure data play, right? It takes all of that kind of the subjectivity out of it. It's like, all right, I'm putting money down. I think this is going to happen. It's fascinating stuff. But Natalie, I wanted to ask because I know that so many people tune in to get tips from you and how to make money. But now that you're in this new role, you got to tell us what the guardrails are because we want to make sure, we're doing things right by fanatics.
yeah, so we'll make a little disclaimer here, but all opinions are my personal Natalie Cutter from Boston, Massachusetts. My personal opinions that are said here. Nothing that is said is as a Fanatics employee, and you can't take my betting advice anymore. But I know Norm is betting on the side, so he can offer some of his picks. I will give as much education and guardrails as I can on what the markets are saying, but all views of my own are personal. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I no longer participate in sports betting anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
I know. Is it though? The bank account might look a little better.
Right. I mean, that's tough. You got to give that up. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Called no betting, no fixing, or no tipping. BFT in sports.
What can you tell us about the Australian Open?
What do you want to know, Norm? Are you looking for your picks or
betting insights?
Yes. What are the markets saying?
All right. So I would say like on the men's side, it's pretty straightforward game. There's not much to write home about. As I said, like the top three, Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, and everyone else is a pretty far long shot. I think like if you look at the women's side, there's a lot of depth there right now. Top three, Sabalenka, Swiatek, and Gauff are plus 200, plus 400, plus 500. But following pretty closely behind is Keys and Ravankina plus 800 and plus 900. So I think you'll find a lot of value on the women's side, looking outside of the top two, especially in those quarters and semis. looks. So I would say, like, if you're looking to bet on the Australian Open, you're going to find more value on the women's side versus the men's side is just very heavily, Alcaraz in center versus the field.
Jump in here. Did you guys see that Craig Boynton is with Riley Opelka?
No, did not see that.
Breaking news.
Yeah, that's just in. Oh yeah, look at this. It was as of today. That's fantastic. We all love some Craig Boynton. He actually lives over in Tampa, St. Pete.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah, really, really good dude. Obviously, long time with Hebe Hurkacz, was with Isner for a long time. Courier. Yeah, he's one of the good guys in the game.
Oh, that's awesome. I would expect a good year from Opelka.
He's energized, man.
He is.
I just hope that he reactivates his Twitter if he hasn't already. That used to be what an entertaining feed that was.
I don't even see him on my. I'm looking at DraftKings. Sorry, Natalie. I'm looking. I don't even see Opelka on here. For me, the value is Shelton is 60 plus 6,500, and Djokovic right now. To your point, it may change, but it's plus 1,400.
Wow.
You got to throw a buck on that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As we're all making our notes.
And it's Taylor Fritz plus 3,500. He's gotten to a final before. Zverev plus 2,500.
It's going to take somebody like a Shelton that can do something dynamic. Fritz,
blow him off.
He's gotten so much out of his game, which is amazing. But beating those guys in 5.
So Natalie, what are your thoughts on the women's side? I know you gave us it's kind of like the usual suspects, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think, back to the men's side just for a quick second. I think markets are clearly showing that there's a lot to sprinkle on the semis and the quarters. There's probably not to sprinkle and win back on the finals because it's a very highly dominant field over there. On the women's side, I think, I would say Rabankina, Anisimova are probably hidden gems to look at for the semis and the quarterfinals. They had great years last year. Rabankina has one major title, I believe, Wimbledon 2022, and Anisimova is still chasing hers, but we know she came close last year and will probably come in guns a-blazing. So I would say, looking outside your Sabalenka, Swiatek, I would look at those, and I think, not taking winners, but taking semis and quarterfinals is where you might have a better chance.
It's so funny. When you talk, Natalie, is like the one time, especially something like this, where all three of us just shut up and you see us taking notes.
Get real quiet.
What did she say? Got to rewind that.
Hey,
you can't take my betting advice, John.
No.
Quick Amanda Anisimova fun fact. I did a little research on who was the naughtiest in 2025, meaning who got fined the most. And like the serving, I did it on a per match basis. On the men, no shocker at all. It's Nick Kyrgios, got fined an average of $2,000 a match. But on the women's side, Amanda Anisimova.
What?
An average of $1,000 per match, the highest fine density on the WTA in 2025.
So she must have had a couple big ones because this is shocking. Does it list what they are?
I didn't get that detail, but number 2 is your favorite, John, Yelena Ostapenko.
Oh. She's my girl.
That's a fun stat. We should keep track of that one.
Kyrgios is playing doubles, is he not, at the AO?
He's
playing doubles
until he's not. I mean, is he playing with Thanos again, or
probably?
What a jackass! I'm sorry. Like, the fact that he had to come out and say, "I'm just not in shape for the Australian Open." Like, well, what else have you been doing?
You just suck at singles these days. Like, you're gonna get back into it. Own it up.
He played that stupid.
Become a double specialist and play the Champions Tour.
He did that terrible Battle of the Sexes with Sabalenka. Did you guys see
anybody watch that?
I actually did. It was terrible. It was just awful. Like bad tennis from Kyrgios, but it was enough to beat her like 3-3, I think.
Like, was he just throttling it back or just like playing terribly?
His court was like reduced by 10% or some amount.
Right. Well, yeah, her court was smaller. He had to cover more
Yeah,
court.
correct.
Yeah,
But I mean,
and they
his
both
serve,
had one serve.
yeah, but his second serve was almost unreturnable, right? The delta between the two was so obvious. But what a dumb event I thought for tennis.
Yeah, that was obviously it really gained their interest.
Right.
I
Yeah.
got one more over under for Nat's numbers here. So, pretty untraditional, I'd say, but over under number of inappropriate comments the Australian Open interviewers are going to make this year. So, last year I can name five. So, to list them, interviewer said to Lerner Tien after he beat Medvedev, 19-year-olds aren't meant to be that good. And he was like, I don't know what to say to that. Another one,
That's
to
terrible.
Kelvin, he said, Monfils is old enough to be your dad. We have, of course, the very controversial reporter who mocked Djokovic. And then last one I have was Shelton was told he would have no crowd support when he was playing Damon Hour because he was American and Damon Hour is Australian. So this is
their on-court team is just brutal.
Brutal.
I think we're all big Blair Henley fans. She's amazing at the U.S. Open and the different tournaments. And I remember texting her during some of those interviews post-match going, what in the heck is going on? You need to go save this.
Yeah, I mean, I had mad respect for Ben Shelton. He, outspokenly said something about it in one of his press conferences, especially because, like, AO is regarded as, like, the players' tournament. It's the happy tournament. It's the sunshine tournament. Like,
not last year. No,
is it all in good fun, or are they taking it too far? Who knows?
When a lot of the reporters post-match also refer to the players by someone else's name, so some of them were confused or nervous. Coco was called something else, and it happened a couple times. And the players they're so savvy, and they don't necessarily correct a lot of the announcers and reporters, which is good to see.
We had it was so embarrassing one year. We had in Delray Beach our on-court guy confused Nakashima and Nishikori, and it was just like, oh.
Yeah, tough one.
Oh.
You're fired.
Oh.
You're fired.
There have been a couple other blunders like that we'll have to talk about off air that have just been cringy.
That's a good over-under though, Natalie, because I remember that distinctly last year, especially the comments with Djokovic or the mocking of Djokovic.
Yeah, yeah.
And that reporter that got in trouble, I think.
Yeah, it was a reporter, right? It was a news.
Yeah, news reporter. Yeah. A lot of off-the-court news last year at the AO.
Tournament was the one where the camera guy got in trouble. That was later in the year, right?
That was U.S. Open.
Yeah. Running on the court.
That up.
Yeah. He got like exiled from the league, right?
Yeah.
They haven't seen him again. It's so weird. He's in a barrel in the bottom of the Hudson.
This beer is really good.
I know. I'm looking at you have that beer. I'm done with my whiskey here. I'm like, oh,
that's making me thirsty.
Really good. I'm gonna have to go.
Peter, what are you drinking in your glass?
Nothing. It's a Diet Mountain Dew. It's been a long day.
Wow, man!
I can count on one hand how many pops or sodas I have, and today's one of them. It's bizarre.
Okay, so it's
never had one.
You're gonna be able to go to sleep after that?
Well, I'll go home and have a lone pine myself. Have a frost fest, a nice crispy piney festive frost fest.
It is crispy.
Yes.
And then lastly, it's worth mentioning that this is the swan song season for Monfils and Wawrinka. I mean, two just
great call. Yeah.
Absolute studs. I mean, especially Stan. Stan might be, I think Djokovic called him the most underrated player of all time, or of our era, or his era.
Big fan. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Too.
Very, very, very good to recognize those two. I mean, what Gail is as far as an athlete, the enjoyment he brought to the game. I mean, that kid never played a match that he didn't just love entertaining. I remember watching his final match as a junior, center court, U.S. Open, and it was just like a rubber band bouncing around the court. It just was so unique the way that he played, his flair, everything about it was just joy.
And his dancing, his incredible dancing.
Yeah.
He's like the most likable player.
What a good. And did you see his wife won this week?
Yeah, Svitolina
won the tournament.
Svitolina.
And interestingly, he won that same tournament, the ATP side, last year.
Oh, Auckland, yeah. New Zealand.
So he won 25, she won 26. He carried her trophy up the court. It was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
I think she's up to 12th Svitolina now.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Solid.
Amazing. Would love to see them both have like a really strong, healthy year.
And Stan won 2 Grand Slams. Australian Open and US Open, right? Yeah.
US Open. Yeah. Nobody wanted to see him in a final, the big guys.
No.
And Venus Williams is going to be in the AO, right? As a wild card at 45 years young.
Oh, I do think,
Speaking of swan
about this
songs.
by text, I think. Serena, right? She came out, she was on the list for drug testing, and everyone's like, why would she be on the list for drug testing unless she's going to come back? And she was denying it. But I suspect, my big prediction, maybe it's not so edgy, but she'll play the Wimbledon doubles with her sister.
Oh, that makes sense.
I guess
That's really cool.
let's get it on the prediction market.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet that.
Natalie?
I am too.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to Breaking Back on your favorite podcast platform. And be sure to follow us on X and Instagram at Breaking Back Pod.